David said, I will not give anything to God that will not cost me. Worship without sacrifice is incomplete. I believe it's time for us to understand that it has to cost us something. Our time, our energy, and everything.
Alabaster jar, here's my offering. I pour my love on you, my expensive worship. Alabaster jar, here's my offering. I pour my love on you, my expensive worship.
Just a song. You deserve my all, my expensive worship. Hallelujah. I will bring you more, more than just a song. You deserve my all. Hallelujah. My expensive worship. Lord, I came here to worship and to bless your name and to give you my all. Come on, lift your voice. Say, Lord, I came here to worship. Hallelujah. Lord, I came here. Yes, Lord. To bring you worship. To worship. And to bless you. To worship you. I cannot go back. I am not going anywhere. I cannot go back. Like I'm standing right here in your presence. We give you everything, Lord. You are the reason why we live. Without you, we are nothing. Therefore, we come to declare that God, take your worship. Jesus, to let go my love. I cannot go back. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Italk with Pastor Kwame. You're watching FBN Network. I am excited to bring you another episode today. Today is going to get hot in the studios here because we are going to be talking about some things that are close and dear to the heart of a lot of people. All right, so I want you to stay put, share the link, share the video, share the podcast. Share the episode with friends and tell them to come on because we are on today to talk about emotional wellness stuff and also to really answer a very interesting question. All right, so let me take a quick look at who is in class. Who is in class today? All right, so I want to appreciate all of you for tuning in. And Kwaku is here. Kwaku is here. Kwaku, you didn't send your answer in. I want to get all the answers in. I mean, when I say answers, only those who are in class know what I'm talking about, but you will be let in very shortly. So if you come to class, just put your name down here for me so that I will give a shout out to you. Some of the people that will be commenting, they are actually getting back home now. So some of them are in their cars and their trains and things like that. But it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. Let me give you where we are going today. In the next hour, we are going to try and finish our talk on emotional intimacy. I want to run through them quickly, all the four of them, and then we are going to wrap it up today so we can pick up on another topic based on what the class will choose. So I'll post 3 topics and then the class will decide which one we teach next. So hope you are learning. Let me give you the purpose of FBN and Italk. We are here to bring help to people. We are here to believe God that in a small way you will hear something that will reduce your burden. You will hear something that will cause you to kind of handle life in a clearer way. We are bringing light to a dark world. We are bringing clarity to confusion. We are bringing answers to questions. We are bringing God's word into this situation on your life, God's perspective on matters. And I have taken upon myself to handle emotional issues, marital issues, discipleship issues, and also to handle everyday things that you need to do well as a person. And so welcome once again to the show. I talk with Pastor Kwame on FBN. This is an amazing platform, a lot of great things happening, and I'm really excited about it. A quick announcement. I hope my producer will not get mad at me, but I'm looking for more students to join my class. If you want to be a student in my class, I want you to join. And let's make it happen. All right. So I'm still waiting for my students to come on board, but let me take this opportunity to tell you where we are going. So the first part of my show today, we are going to, instead of going to the white room today, we're going to go to life story, real life story for the day, pretty much. And so we're going to hear a clip about a life situation, and I will read the answers, that some of the answers that the students have kind of have submitted concerning how to resolve that real life situation, and we're going to deliberate about it a little bit, and I'll give you the final final respond, my response to the life question or the life issue that we are going to discuss, and then we'll come back, and then I will try and finish our talk on emotional wellness, which has to do specifically with the 4 things you need to experience emotional intimacy, which is a human necessity for wellness. Is that a good plan today? So that's what we are going today. So let me see who is here, and then we will quickly go to the room where the question will be posed. All right. So I am looking at the let me see Facebook Live to see who is with me. My producer is with me. So where are my students? I'm waiting on all of you to come in, so that we can discuss this important topic. But for time's sake, I will let the producer play the jingle 1 time or 2 times, and then go straight into the real life story that we are going to consider today. And so once I come back, then I will read some of the comments and some of the answers people have given in, and you'll be surprised some of the things people are saying. All right, so I will be right back to talk about real life story for today. All right, God bless you.
I got pregnant 9 years ago while dating my current husband, and then the issue of marriage came up. I wasn't working then. He told my family and I that he didn't want a court marriage for any reason. My parents tried talking to him. I cried. I begged him severally to legalize his marriage. My parents begged him to legalize the marriage with me, but he stood his ground not to wed me in a court. I involved his family members to help me beg him, but they said he's old enough to make his decisions. He even refused to do a white wedding either because my church requested for a court certificate. So we ended up doing only traditional marriage. I let her go tired and gave up on the matter. I was hurt and broken, but I resolved to marry him like that, just to save myself and my family the shame of having a baby outside wedlock. My dad was angry and disappointed in him, but he didn't care. And because of that, my dad vowed to see me a successful woman, an independent woman, with or without him. After I gave birth to my baby, my dad helped me secure a job with a multinational company, and the things started to turn around for me for good. I could now take care of myself and had a secure future. Though I married my husband, I never forgave him from my heart, and it made me not do anything in my husband's name. We currently have 3 kids together, but all my properties are in my name and the name of my children. I never used him as my next of kin either. Just last month, my company decided to transfer me to a branch in Texas, and the company is willing to pay for my entire family to relocate with me. My husband's business is not doing well, and he's willing to relocate also, but we have no legal certificate to show that we are married. Now he wants us to go to court to legalize our marriage, and I have said no. My dad has threatened to disown me if I ever go with him to court. He has been tagging me everywhere. My husband has been tagging me everywhere. Can you imagine? As a bad wife who is not loyal to her husband, spoiling my family also. His family members have been calling me, trying to persuade me, but I told them I'm old enough to make my decisions also. And I have stood my ground, just like he did to me 9 years ago. What is your advice for this young mother of 3?
All right, all right, all right. So this is very, very, very interesting. And not only is it interesting, but it is close to the heart. It's a very sensitive matter. And I hope you were able to follow the story. But the big picture is that this couple were together before they got married. Pregnancy came in, and the issue of marriage came up, and then the husband took a very interesting stand, which I will address that a little bit. Took an interesting stand, and then that interesting stand was, I will do only traditional marriage, period. Nothing more, nothing less. But the issue on the table was, there is a white wedding to consider. There is court wedding to consider, which all of them has their significance, and it makes the whole thing complete. But the guy said, I will do only traditional marriage. And so the matter really became hot in the family, and he wouldn't budge. Everybody came in, church, family, everybody came in. This guy says traditional marriage, final answer. The wife was so broken on the inside, it was hurt to the core, and that became the very place she housed her heart and herself for the entire marriage. And you can see that because of that pain, she looked at herself as married but not in love for what the man has done. So the story continues that she did everything that she would do in only in the name of the children and herself. Because if you don't want to be legally bound to me, then I wouldn't legally put anything in your name either. So she retaliated. And now the case is now in front of us. The matter at hand is the girl has an opportunity. So I consider that based on what is happening, the girl is in Africa, and now the opportunity to travel to the United States has come in. And now it is necessary that if the whole family is coming together, it must have a legal support for the husband to come along. Common law is not enough. They need to legalize their union before the husband can come. And now the issue is that the girl cannot do that because of one reason. She's not going to do that. She's not going to do that because um, if it wasn't good for you yesterday, it shouldn't be good for you today. So the girl is not going to do that. On top of it, the father is going to kill the girl, literally, if the girl does that, right? And so that is the situation at hand. So the path forward is that she goes, if she decided to not do it, she just goes alone with the kids, and then the marriage becomes whatever it will become. All right, so that's the issue. So let me read some comments here for you. And if you're watching and you have a comment in the Facebook section, I will kind of put you there. All right, so let me give a shout out to people. My producer is in here, Adele is in the house, and Mrs. I don't know if she's happy about the way I call her, and Mrs. Business raised in the house, and then the one and only Mami Nyako is also here. I don't know. I don't know if it's Mami Nyako, but I keep calling her like that. All right. I know it's Nyako, but I added Mami to it. All right. So that is what is up. Let me read some answers that came, and then we will try to resolve it. So Dr. Gloria sent this. Let me read it. It says, I think the foundation of the marriage was wrong, and that is the big problem here. After 9 years, she has to make a choice here. If she loves him, then she just has to forgive, legalize the marriage, and relocate with him. Also, they can still travel as family with just the traditional marriage because that is recognized. All right. The second thing is, if she also never forgave him and still cannot, maybe she never loved him enough. And the fact remains that children without, let me read this, and the facts remain that children cannot make a relationship better. So she may have to end the marriage now rather than later and move on. Either choice is hard, but she has to be honest with herself. Okay, thank you, Dr. Gloria. That's interesting. Who else is here? Okay, let me see. Lidakusa said what it says. Ha ha ha. She should leave without the guy. He never understood that it in marriage, both partners have to compromise, but he was selfish enough to make decision on his own. He never understood that marriage is a blessing and that God can elevate them. All right, so one person says whichever direction she goes, she should go. This person says that she should just leave the guy. All right, who else is talking? I think my producer said something. He said my answer is this: she should be good Christian, forgive him, but she should let him know how she feels about what he did. All right, so that's what my producer said. All right, so what else is here? I think I had some comments from another person that I wanted to read. Okay, Mami Yaku said this. It says, uh, if it were him, he would say we are not legally married, so he won't go with me like he did before. The lady shouldn't go to any court to register for the marriage. She should travel with the kids and leave him. All right. From the beginning, he wasn't in love with the lady. If they go into court and sign and they travel, he will divorce the lady. All right. So people are really saying stuff. All right. Is there any other comment that I missed? I think Amma said something. Let me go find what Amma said. All right. So, and these students are going to be get judged by me after the show. So I see who is winning so far. Personally, I will go ahead and register the marriage for the sake of my kids. for us to be together and raise our kids. Moreover, she didn't state the husband has way or the other disrespected her because they didn't register their marriage. Okay, let me read that because I think it's important. Moreover, she didn't state the husband has way or the husband but probably the husband is away or disrespected her because she didn't register the marriage. Every marriage goal is to be peaceful. Our fathers didn't register their marriage, but they really enjoy their union. Okay, so she's also making a good point here. So I really like what is happening. Any comments that on Facebook before I start digesting the situation at hand? Let me see. All right, so this is where we are at with the situation. There is a mixed feeling on the comments on what she should do. All right, so let me, before I get into the core of the issue, let me say this. On the table, as we look at the situation, the first issue that I can see is when you put the white wedding on the table and you put traditional marriage on the table and you put court marriage on the table, we have to talk about that, right? Because the issue, even though it's a personal issue, because those three things are still being debated in different corridors, because of these three things are being debated in different places, it is bringing some of these issues. We must understand once and for all the role of all these three, right? We must understand what each of them represent. You see, so this is just an opportunity to do a little teaching on the side, right? Even though we've not gone into the meat of the matter yet, right? But what the root of all of this issue is the fact that there are three marriages for Ghana people, right? How did we end up with three marriages? I went through the same thing. I married my wife twice. And I said, when I come out of this, I will really table it. How come we are now being told to marry like three times? You see what I mean? And so we have to talk about it. So let me give a pastoral response to that, right? So as I'm speaking, there are people who are strongly arguing and debating about the fact that traditional marriage is marriage full stop. Traditional marriage is marriage full stop. Like Amma said, our fathers, all they knew was traditional marriage, and it was valid and it was solid. Dr. Gloria also said that traditional marriage should be recognized at the immigration, right? So that is the first point. The second point is, now as a Christian, now do we call it marriage after the white wedding or after the house marriage? And they have played this funny game where they call the house marriage engagement. And that is how they corner the issue, so that they will require that you get married also, maybe they were the white wedding. And then at the white wedding, you sign the legal forms. So that's how they've split it for us. But the truth of the matter is, marriage happens when it is done traditionally. Marriage happens when it is done traditionally. But if I'm to tell you something, I would say that what prevents you from engaging in a white wedding and the legal aspect? What prevents you? That's my question. What prevents you? But I can say that it is marriage when it is traditionally done, right? As a Christian, you have to bless the union because it is also God given. So bringing it to the house of God for it to bless is necessary. And people take advantage of the celebration and use a white wedding to bless it. You can do any kind of blessing. It doesn't have to be with a white marriage, but people take advantage of it. And it is a once in a lifetime something, so they do it. The idea of white wedding is necessary and not necessary at the same time. The reason is because the Jewish people who supposedly got us the faith, the Christian faith, upon their culture or upon their lives from Abraham up to now, did the whole Messiah came, who has now become our savior. When you look at their wedding, it is almost a week, you see. So the celebration doesn't run out until the wine is finished, basically. So it's not too much to do white wedding from the Jewish culture, right? That's what I'm saying. So white wedding is not too much to do if you can do it, right? But we should draw the line that traditional marriage is marriage, but you have to, if you belong to a faith community, it is required that the Lord bless the union in the presence of people also, because it makes it complete. You can't say, I'm a Christian and I only want to give my life to Christ. I don't want to do water baptism, or I don't want to, it's kind of together. Right. So the reason you don't want to do that, if anybody doesn't agree with me, you can punch me from here and give me your comment. But it is complete as it is. You follow? Right. And so you do the white wedding to continue the celebration. And then because of legal issues like this, traveling, all of that, you finalize it with the legal also aspect. You follow? So all those three on the table, it has unfortunately become our reality that we married 3 times, by just one time, but 3 called. Basically, you can see 1 time 3 called to make it good. But there's nothing wrong with a white wedding, and there's nothing super necessary about it either. That's how I would put it. So it's a recommendation. It makes the wife happy and all of that. So that's where it's coming from. All right. So that is the reason this is happening. So you say, Pastor, so how do we handle that if I'm in a situation? So the couple must make a decision, right? The couple must make a decision of how they want to handle these 3. We want to leave once and go on expense, and it's happening. And sometimes I panic because it's a little bit of waste of money to put 40,000 into a white wedding. You follow? So I would advise that don't do that. Invest the money, but do something, right? Do something that will also make the whole marriage heavy. Do something, but be reasonable about it, right? That's my advice. But understand that the marriage happens when the marriage happens, which is where marriage takes place between the family given. All right. Our tradition is not a sin, it is binding. And then as a Christian, if the faith community you belong to is not blessing it, it's also not biblically correct. You might not do a wedding, but there must be the body of Christ, which is your family, your spiritual family. They must also bless the marriage. So that one you can, sometimes the people will do in a home and bring the pastor there and the pastor will bless it. That's beautiful. So you can blend it any way you want and you are not wrong. But when the traditional one is done, it is done. All right, let me go on because of time. So that is where the problem came from. All right. And now the couple couldn't balance this very well. Let me now talk to let me kind of talk to both sides, because I enjoy the topic so much, but I still have to go teach other things. But let me see if anybody has commented something and I will read on that. But I'm going to address some issues. Okay, what do I have here? All right, so Mama Kos is also in class here today. Yes, it is his turn to bear the same emotional trauma and disgrace. Oh my goodness, Adele is taking this person and the disgrace that took the lady through. All right, so karma at work, I hear you. Our men are always setting the pace for such issues. Daddy, please tell us why men are like that. Only God knows, my dear. Only God knows how men are like that. All right, so let me see if there's anything on the side. All right, cool. All right, so let me read something. It says, I totally agree. This is Mama Ko saying, I totally agree with her father. If it had been the husband, he would have relocated to new state without the wife for not being legally married. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Period. I see people are really on the case. All right. And who else is saying what? Okay, let me see what my producer's wife is saying. Pastor, I believe the man had a reason for not wanting to legalize the marriage, probably because he didn't want his wife claiming properties should the marriage end in divorce. Okay. So if he didn't want to do it in the past, then nothing should make him change his mind now. So the woman shouldn't agree at all, but she should forgive him though, because if he hadn't recognized if he hadn't rejected legalizing the marriage, it wouldn't have provoked her father to do something for her. And it's made me laugh. This girl is winning the thing, and she is in turn would have still been jobless. So she should forgive him, but not. I think your husband made you write this. Legalize the marriage. All right, this is very interesting. So she's saying that it is a blessing in disguise. Interesting. All right, all right. This is, let me see if I have this one. Cause the man should learn that the hand of time is always turning. Okay, so people are being prophetic. All right. So I'm kind of spending all my time on this, but which is fine because people's life are at stake here. All right, so I've talked about the traditional marriage and all of that. The next thing I want to talk about is there's a lot of people now who are strongly advocating that before the Western people came, our marriage was marriage, like Amma said. So the man is coming from that camp, right? We will assume that it's coming from that camp because he didn't say, I will marry you. He said, I will marry you traditionally and I will put my foot down so that this thing doesn't go somewhere wrong, where everybody is being pressured to do that, right? So if that's the case the man is building, the man is standing on principle to build the case that let me do this, right? But it sounds like the way the women are commenting, it sounds like no. Like my producer's wife said, no, the husband wanted to marry the girl and keep all his things to himself, should in case the marriage doesn't go well. So there's this thing that there's a motive behind the reason he wanted it only to be traditional. I was thinking about it in the afternoon. I said that um, the story begins with she got pregnant before the marriage came, right? So I wonder if the husband wasn't ready for the pregnancy and threw him in a very negative place that made him start acting strange or something, right? But whatever it is, this is what happened. So it's a very unfortunate. But I want to talk to the camp or the team or the group that are advocating for traditional marriage only, right? I want you to know that we hear you loud and clear. We do hear you loud and clear, and we are not saying traditional marriage is not marriage, right? If that's all you want to do and that's what the two of you want to do, fine. If we're a Christian, it's not enough. I mean, it's enough for marriage, but if we're a Christian, for all righteousness to be fulfilled, the bishop God has placed you under must bless the union also. You understand? So you do the traditional and do that, right? I want to emphasize that because that's where the problem came from. All right, cool. So I think I will try to give my take on that and then we will wrap it up. Anybody has said something? All right, so people are mad. All right, so here is my take. Are you ready? Producer, you want me to bring my take after my jingle, or you want me to do my take? You can signal me here, because after my take we won't talk about this again. But if people have comments, I want to engage your comments before I bring my take. But that is the situation. The underlying principle was what I was talking about, which is I strongly believe that the guy was campaigning for traditional marriage only. So comment in the session, do you think traditional marriage only, to the class, the question to the class, do you think traditional marriage only is enough? If you think it's enough, all right. If you think it's, I should go ahead. Cool. Do you think traditional marriage only is enough? I want to hear from all of you. Do you think traditional marriage is enough? And also, um, what do you do if you have a partner that's all that he wants? Is he wrong in saying that traditional marriage alone is enough? All right. The other thing that I want to say is some of the women are very not happy with what the guy did. But I see one person talking about there's no say that the guy didn't marry the girl properly, right? There's no saying that. The only say is that because he didn't want white wedding on court wedding, the woman just turned her heart away from him from that time on. The story doesn't say he wasn't supporting the kids. The story doesn't say he wasn't doing what the husband is doing. The story always say that from right that point, the woman just closed her heart and started doing things in light of what the guy has done. Because he didn't like white wedding and court wedding and disrespected the family and the church and all of that, she also closed her heart. It doesn't say whether from that point the guy did something wrong again. The only thing we know he did wrong was not wanting to do the white wedding. But it doesn't tell whether the guy was irresponsible, the guy was not the good husband in other areas. It doesn't say all of that. All it says is that the girl from that point never looked at him the same way again and started building his life with the father's support to come to this far. So we don't know if they were in or not in. That we can't tell. All right. Do I have anything? All right. So yes, I got a comment. It says it's not wrong. I got a comment from Dr. Gloria. Said it is not wrong at all. Traditional marriage is enough so long as both of them agree. Yes, and I like that. I appreciate that. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Gloria. It says it is enough. Gotcha. All right. Anybody have a take on that? Cool. I'm going to go ahead. So is it exactly 8 o'clock? I wanted to do that exactly 8 o'clock so that I can have time. 1 minute to 8 o'clock. Cool. So I feel I should. All right, let me see what Hagar said. Sorry for coming in late. I don't normally go on YouTube or the other places. All right, okay, so there's a personal thing. All right, cool. That's fine. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to zero in on the case here. So my job is to bring answer to the situation and also to show you what is at stake here, right? And some of you have heard that. All right. The entire story between these two people can be summarized into 3 laws of love. 3 laws of love. If anybody is listening, please, this is where I want you to type what I'm going to say. Who can do that for me? Kweku is always online. So let me see. Whoever is online or producer, whatever I'm going to say, I want you to type this in the comment section, right? There are 3 laws of love that is at play here. 3 laws, right? And 2 of the laws have been broken already. And the 3rd one is now, which is the question for the day, right? The first law of love states that love chooses person over principle. I know it's technical, even though this is an emotional statement, but hear me closely. Love always chooses a person over principle. What do I mean by that? The husband is in principle when he says marriage traditionally is enough. But he wasn't in love. Love chooses the wife's concern, the wife's happiness over principle. Anytime love is at play, so the husband didn't come in the marriage in love. You should say, honey, I don't buy all this white thing. Marriage is marriage, and you should know that. But because I love you, I will do everything to make you happy. And that's how love speaks. Love chooses people over principle. The husband broke the law of love by choosing principle over people. And love is so strong that sometimes even when the person has broken the principle, love pays the price. Because when you break a principle, you pay the price. Love, but the woman had not broken the principle. So love always chooses people over principle. So write that down. Love always chooses people over principle. So the husband should have said, the principle is that I am right. Marriage stops when we finish it at home. But I love you, so I will choose you over principle. That was broken. The second law of love that was broken, where I know the women will fight me, is the law of love, which state that love chooses person over preference. Love chooses person over preference. The issue on the woman's side is that even though my preference was the white and the legal, because I love you, I will not be holding you in that cage of unforgiveness, but I love you enough to sacrifice my preference and be with you. I love you more than I love white wedding. You follow? So love always chooses people over preference. The wife preferred for her joy, for her happiness, for her dream. All you know, she has dreamed about her white wedding and all of that, which is a preference. It's a preference. It's not a requirement. But love will say, this is what will make me the happiest woman if you do this. But I love you more than preference. So I will choose to be with you rather than to die over a preference I didn't get. That makes sense for the women. If it doesn't, say, Pastor, I won't buy it. But if it makes sense, then that's the second principle for love. Love chooses people over preference. My preference is a white wedding. My preference is also a legal wedding, which is a preference which has its advantages, have its benefit, no doubt about it, but it's still a preference. Is that a requirement? But if you love the man, you will say also to him that I love you enough to sacrifice my preference to be with you, because my love for you is stronger than my love for a white wedding. My love for you is even stronger than going that far. Do you understand that? So that was also broken. The second law of love, we state that love chooses person over preference. All right. I hope I'm not in trouble so far. All right. So the third one, which is at stake as we speak. So the husband broke the law of love. He didn't bring love into the equation. The wife retaliated and broke the law of love by choosing the preference over the person. And now the third law is that love chooses the person over pain. So the woman now is at the place of choosing the person or going with the pain. If she goes with the pain the guy has caused her, then she will go with the pain and leave the guy and listen to the father and put all of it together. For this pain you have caused me, I will choose the decision based on the pain, not based on the person. So the situation at hand, the marriage had no love in it at all. This case is the prime opportunity for love to be introduced in the marriage for the first time. And it's on the ball. The ball is in the girl's court. The girl can choose love for the first time in their marriage and hoping that the seed of love can cause the husband, when he is time to play, for him to also play love. You understand that? So that is really the foundation of the matter. Love is not in this picture. Or I must say the love for each other is not strong in this picture. The other matters on the table. So if you put it this way, the love of the husband for the wife is on the table. The love for the wife for the husband is on the table. The wife's love and need for white wedding and legal is on the table. The husband need to prove a point is on the table. And those other things are heavier than their love for each other. Do you understand that? So that is where the balance tilted. So at the moment as I'm speaking, the ball is in the wife's court. The law of love requires that the woman chooses the man over her pain. But a lot of people, when they come there, they don't have what it takes to go there. That's what Dr. Gloria is saying, that is the choice is in the hands of the woman. Do you have what it takes to love, or you only have what it takes to now follow your pain? So these are the three laws that are at stake here. The law of love states that love chooses the person over the principle. The law of love states that love chooses the person over the preference. The law of love states that love chooses the person over the pain. So it's always about love, and love means you are doing something. Write this down also. Love means you are doing something you don't like for a person you like. Write that down. Love means you are doing something you don't like for a person you like. Do you understand that? All right. So that is really where I will stop with this. I'm sure some of you don't agree at all. All right. So this is real. I made it very technical, but it is still emotional and it's heavy. So, but that's the answer. The goal is that whoever is around them should kind of help them nurture and help them to see what I'm saying so that she will make the choice of love. But love was not in the marriage at all. It was just they are caught up in their own things. Now the opportunity has come for them to love each other for real. And the ball is in the girl's court. Are you going to break another law of love by choosing your pain over the person, or you are going to do the love thing and choose love? By the way, if you choose love, it doesn't mean they will choose you back. Let me go and see if I've been crucified in the comment section on WhatsApp. All right. So who is saying what? Sorry. Okay. Let me see who's saying what. Okay. All right. Who said? Okay, Daddy, please, you can do the traditional marriage and legalize it in court. All right. So that's what they're saying. Since the man refused to do for the other. Okay, I think I've read this before, but I will take it. I will take care of that because I have another 30 minutes for us to do the boring stuff. We have done the exciting stuff. But do you see what I'm saying? That the law of love was broken, the whole thing. And the only solution, let me give you the solution. If the woman choose to break the law of love by choosing her pain over the person, which is the man, what she has done is now she has allowed the marriage to die and natural death. Because now from here, according to the story, they are already fighting each other. The husband is going around telling people the wife is not good and all of that, right? And so if the wife decides to go with her pain because that is more meaningful to her and leaves the country with the kids, then the marriage has finished, right? And now the kids are going to be in the balance trying to live that life where their father is not in the picture, right? And I feel that I don't have enough information for that, but for them to continue marrying and have two more children, I guess it's easy to have them. It means that the marriage itself was there, just as the offense and the pain from the beginning was what was coloring the marriage. So I feel that the wife should love. That break another law of love, should love. And you will say, Pastor, somebody said, Pastor, if you love this guy, he will come to America and run away. You understand? Now, I told you earlier on that when Jesus was dying on the cross, there wasn't any RSVP that some people will believe in his death. I did a podcast and I said that if I were Jesus and I'm here to come and die for sinners, I would tell my father, Father, give me the list of those that when I die, they will believe me. I need to know that I'm dying for 80%, like the way I'm doing the show. The reason why I call the class is because I don't want to do a show where nobody's watching. So I said, let me go get a class. Because Jesus said, I'm going to die. And the second question was that, Father, if I die, would they believe me? The father said, I don't know. So love doesn't see guarantee. So you choose to love this guy, whether they will love you back or not, it's not love. When it is based on what you get back, it's no longer love. Love is expensive, my people. It's not for cheap. Love costs a lot. That's why people choose like instead of love. So if you choose to forgive this guy, there's no guarantee that he will not leave when you travel. But that is what it costs to love. If Jesus said, if you do right to those who do right to you, you are not God's children. You see? So love is tough. So Jesus said, I'm going to die. And I will Kwame Jesus, I'll say, give me the list of those who have signed up that they will use my blood to come to heaven. And I look at it. I said, Daddy, when he get to 80%, I'll go down and die. But he died knowing that nobody says, whosoever believe, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. So whosoever believe. Hey, are you going to make it an open invitation for whosoever? When my blood is on the line, make it, and those who should believe will come. But he says, I will kill my son for whosoever want to believe. That means that it is purely going to be open by volunteering. You will die, but whoever will come to heaven, it will be their choice. So when you want to love, it means you don't have guarantee, but you choose to love because love never fails, as in on your end. That's the only right thing you can do. So that is the matter. We can take it to court. Those who don't agree with me. There's some comments on Facebook. Let me see. Uh, let me see. Let me see what is cooking on Facebook. My producer, you can, if I'm not able to see it. Okay. Wow, a lot of stuff. All right. So the prophet himself came and says, it's true. Okay. If the prophet says it's true, then I'm done. Love means you are doing something you don't like for someone you like. Yes. There's a lot of things. A lot of comments. All right. But ladies and gentlemen, if you agree with my analysis, give me thumbs up so that I know that I have done justice to it, so that I will spend the rest of my time. That was really expensive. Oh, yes, it is expensive. Right. So that is what's up. The only choice the wife has is to break the law of love again and continue with the vicious cycle that they are going through. Right. The reason the husband is asking for legal marriage is because he has seen the importance of it. Right. And you can say what you want. Maybe he's still an opportunist and all of that. But again, I tell you, if you use people's behavior, you will not love anybody. But God reward lovers. Amen. My story about Jesus and God. Guess what? When God says, this is how it went down. Okay, I'm going to die. And you say it's an open invitation for whosoever will. There's no guarantee that people will believe me after I die this painful death. He said, yes. And then he said, so why should I die? He said, because I'm going to give you a name, Labrakato, above every other name. After you finish this thing, at the mention of your name, everything I've created and will ever create will bow. You can't love and not be rewarded. Do you understand that? God is the one that pays lovers. And I'm speaking those who have loved and been hurt. You can't love and fail. The Bible says love doesn't fail. People say, I love him and he left. You don't understand what I mean. You can't love and not be rewarded. Do you understand? You can't love and not be rewarded. He says, I've given you a name above every other name. If you love a guy and they treat you bad, watch the history of your children. Some people don't understand why some people are blessed even though they are evil. Go back to their bloodline. Somebody in their life have loved somebody, and God is paying that in the bloodline of the children. You can't love, if you love a guy and he fools around, God will bless your children. If you love somebody and they take advantage of you, God will bless you. God is not unrighteous to keep the book anyhow. If you don't love somebody and you play tit for tat, then you are on your own. But if you choose to love somebody in the tears and the pain, God, oh my God, God will honor you. He said, now you are my child, I will honor you. Now you are speaking my language, I will honor you. Because if it be prophecy, it will fail. If it's tongue speaking, it will fail. I don't know why I'm preaching on my show, but love never fails. Is that okay? All right, cool. So with that said, I'm going to wrap up and now touch quickly on our subject, which is emotional intimacy, and then we will wrap up for the day. More questions about the topic, if you want, I will still discuss with you. All right, so emotional intimacy gives an individual a healthy environment to be fully alive and to express yourself. So when I say emotional intimacy, I'm talking about a space where you can be raw, a space where you can really tell how you feel. I don't like this. I like this. This makes me feel like this. You are open and vulnerable, and you are able to really share your burdens, your heart, and not fear that nobody will take it anywhere. But it's a secure conversation line. The confidentiality and the love is there. It's not a legal place, it's a relational place. It's not the same. If you talk to your doctor, if you talk to your lawyer, they are all bound by legal confidentiality. But emotional intimacy is when the relationship is organic and yet there's confidence in that. You can tell all your problems to each other. You won't hide anything from the person, and you can share. That is what it is. Now, we said that um we are going to get that emotional intimacy if one, there's mutual accessibility. And mutual accessibility means that you guys are 100% honest with each other about everything. And people know that my wife sent me a clip about a couple that we're going to marry, and the pastor said, before you marry, confess all your sins. And the guy said, pastor, you want this marriage to break before it starts? So the whole idea of being honest with one another is not happening in many places, and that's why we are all sick. I told you that if you have things in your head, in your heart, I remember that I was talking to a girl where we were just chit-chatting. I said, so if you accidentally cheat on your husband, are you going to tell him? He said, for where? Pastor, are you serious? I'll die with it, right? People are dying with things. You see what I'm saying? But the human emotion, I told you, is the same as the biological emotion and the biological cycle. When food goes in, nutrients stay and the waste come out. The same way with life. When life goes in, good things stay, and the pain and the guilt, because guilt doesn't go away with time. For forgiving somebody, the hurt, the time it will heal, but guilt doesn't heal unless you confess it, right? So all the guilt and all of that in you, if you don't confess it, it will eat you up and bring another pre-existing condition somewhere. The human body, the human soul, and the human spirit, even though they are three, they all live together. If your spirit is sick, very soon your body will be sick. Very soon your soul will be sick. When your soul is sick, very soon your spirit will be sick. Very soon your body will be sick. They don't know how to separate themselves from each other. They are intertwined like that. That's why I can curse you and kill you. I can shoot you and kill you. And I also can poison you and kill you. Different places. You see what I'm trying to say? And I can also say something mean to also dampen you and bring you down. All right. So sharing everything is important. All right. I'm going to run through fast. Create an environment where people can share their, if you're in love with somebody, if you are in a good relationship with somebody, the goal is to not be judgmental so they can share their pain. When my wife and I are talking about what we call a generation of private battles. Because emotional intimacy is nowhere, people are fighting secret battles. You know, because this generation is a social media generation where we post only our praise and not our pain. I'll make a Facebook called Pain Book where we can post our pain, our struggle also in public for people to know. Because a wise man said, if you want to impact people, share your failure. If you want to impress people, share your success. You follow. And so people are dealing with private pain, but nobody knows. And it is killing us softly. But if you have an emotional intimacy, you can share your struggle. Because all of us know you are super spiritual person. So how do you share to the people that, as for me, I'm struggling with this area? So people are dying slowly with things they're struggling with. All right. So open up for people, zero fear and 100% trust in the environment. And we talk about naturalness. The two people are people accept and respect the mutual state of each other and do not need each other to change into what they are not or play a role as actors, right? So if you want people to be mutually connected and be emotionally intimate with you, accept them for who they are. Don't look at them funny. Don't judge them with your eyes. Just accept them in their natural state. And I said the natural state of a person is the highest level of authenticity. You know, be so welcoming that people can be authentic around you, all right? And then a state where a person can be show their strength and their weaknesses. That is all healing. A place where you're not afraid to share your secret struggle. A place where you're not afraid to share your fantasies. I tell you, emotional constipation is the number one killer disease. And my producer likes that word. Emotional constipation is when the things inside you should come out, but there's nowhere for you to vent it out. And I told you, when that happens, you see people talking when they are walking and there's no Bluetooth because there's so much on them and they have to let it out for emotional health, but they have no place to go, and so they talk and they drink and they smoke and they do drugs so that they can escape the need for emotional intimacy. All right. In passing, you get naturalness by living in love, not in like. Loving people is expensive, and sometimes it's not everybody is different. We all came with a different background, so it's tough for me to love what I don't love or like what I don't like. When I got married, I didn't like. I don't know. It's crazy. I didn't like to see onions in the food. I don't know why. I don't want to see the onion that is in the food. I want it to go away because I don't know why. I just don't know why, right? And my wife didn't do that, so I had to forget about petty things like that and grow up. So if you live like that, then people can be comfortable. Don't be so picky. I said yesterday, and practice empathy. Now let's do the last two because of my time. I talk about human being and human doing. And last one is non-possessiveness, which is the last but one. This means that each person is independent and not violated. I mean, each person's independent is not violated, and that each person doesn't feel owned and controlled by the other person. You cannot have emotional intimacy if there is possessiveness. No human being belongs to any human being. If you're in love with somebody, you can't possess them. The person must be independent. Anytime you're in a relationship that you are not independent, there is a lack of emotional intimacy. The person shouldn't feel that you control them and own them. You see, that's why people are begging, make the bride price cheap so that we don't have to own these girls, because the way they charge me, I cannot help but own her. You follow? So love requires that you don't own them. Let them be free. God is the only one who has the right to own us. And even him, he said, I will love you. So I'll let you choose heaven and hell. You understand? So love requires that you don't control anybody. Let them have independence. Any relationship that you don't have independence is not healthy. And you should do your best and to the blood and toil of our fathers, get independent. Don't live with somebody that colonize you, that is controlling your independence, right? Don't live with anybody that's controlling your independence. All right. Do I have a okay, all right. So I have to teach because of time. Two causes of control is insecurity and lack of trust. Anywhere you see people controlling you, it is because of insecurity and lack of trust. Right? So if you live with somebody and they are controlling you, it means they don't trust you. And they are also insecure. So to help them trust you, make sure that you make yourself trustworthy. And also let their insecurity die by speaking to that, right? Encourage them to build their security. Encourage them if they feel insecure about, most of the time it happens when the woman is more gifted than the man. And the man will play some funny insecure with anybody that calls you, pass it through me. If you get a gig, if you get a singing gig, I have to approve all of it. That's unnecessary control because of insecurity. So anytime you see that, tell the husband, honey, I also like the way you organize this. This is my area, but your area is strong. And so after you feed his ego a little, then his insecurity will die gradually so that he can let you be. But always understand that people who control you are insecure and they lack trust, right? So 100% trust, selflessness, and deep care for one another. That's how you handle it. In conclusion, the last leg, I said 4 things is needed for emotional intimacy. Number 1, you need that mutual accessibility where you tell everybody everything, each other everything. Number 2, you need that place of what was the other one? Second one was what I call the naturalness, where you allow the person to be, and number 3, you don't control them. And then number 4 is process. Okay. Process. Thank you guys for sticking with me today. Process is, let me see. Oh, I have 3 minutes. I'm doing well on time. Process basically means that you are understanding that all the things I'm saying It doesn't happen automatically. You must work on it. You understand? You must work on it, because it means you maintain the emotional intimacy. You attain it, you maintain it, you grow it, and you monitor it. So couples can start emotionally intimate, and when things happen, they go off. But you got to keep an eye on the emotional intimacy. Thank you so much for staying with us. This has been a very interesting episode. It's going to be like this every time. So Friday, we'll bring the story for the day. We dissect it a little bit, and I'll teach a subject. I appreciate all of you. If you have any questions and comments, definitely you can send it to me or send it to producer. Please, can you put the phone number on so that people can have access to sending questions and all of that good stuff? If you want to be a part of the students where you get to get the info before we start the live story, let me know and I can put you in a class. All right. So students, appreciate all of you. I saw who came and who didn't come. So the gift will go to the person who came and gave the most interesting answer. And so I'll contact you and let you know. Stay tuned for some things that are coming up this weekend. I'm continuing part 2 of domestic abuse with the woman of God. I think it's going to be on Sunday. And stay here. Those of you that are watching on other platform, you might not know, but if you go to Facebook on FBN, you see different shows. I have to one day sit and watch other presenters also. I know Pastor Joyce and the husband is on it doing some amazing stuff. I have to keep an eye on that. So there's a lot of things going on, and we want you to engage. The purpose of the show is to reduce human pain a little bit by Friday at a time. All right, let me pray for somebody. Father, we thank you. We bless you. Heal the hearts that are hurting. Those who have loved and have not lost anything, because you are a rewarder of all that do right. I pray that those who are due for promotion will receive it right now. In Jesus' name. See you all next week at the same time. God bless you. This is Pastor Kwame, and you're watching FBN. Shalom.